Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucking smack addict. Bye. In a menudo style and direct fashion, we're going to get straight into the content of the day. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button thing. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel. It's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled and I'm very much appreciative. So gracias. So the other day, everyone started asking me a question. And usually, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even like to really, I've changed my ways. I don't like to speak on, I'm trying to stay away from speaking on other people's business. I mean, I might clown a little bit and have a good time. But at the end of the day, like, fuck D. Kane, straight up, right? Tell him I said that. But at the end of the day, when it's a serious individual that was respected at the highest level in the game, regardless of what people think, how he went out and in the situation, unless you stood 10 toes down in that cell, in that situation, you would never understand that life, what that life brings, the treachery. You wouldn't be of an understanding. But, I was asked, did I watch the boxer Enriquez video that he put out on YouTube? And is he now on YouTube? Is he going to make his presence felt now? Is this going to be an ongoing thing, or was this an excerpt from an interview that he had and someone made a video out of it? To be honest and totally truthful with you, I don't know if he's going to make his presence felt on the YouTube yada, right? I don't know if he's going to see this as a situation that's beneficial for him, but I believe it would be, but I don't agree. Okay, now let me explain this to you. When someone is that high caliber or was that high caliber within one of the big four prison organizations, to which we don't name on this channel anymore, man, period. He's going to have that respect. There's going to be a lot of people that like to listen to what he has to say because they know what the fuck he's talking about. I mean, no one could deny his resume. There's not going to be one person that can say, oh, he was never on a level 4 yard, or this guy was never in the shoe, or this guy never walked amongst killers, or this guy never was a killer. I mean, respect is given to those who have put in that work, okay? But see, in California, we have a big thing that's going on, that's been going on. And I'm going to be doing another video later on, maybe a kind of a part 2 to this, that's going to explain that more in detail. But, what we have going on is the dropping out. And there seems to be a lot of people that use that word dropout without knowing exactly what the hell it means. And I've said it so many different times, and I'm going to say it one more time, and I might say it one more time again, but the word dropout is used for people who drop out of the big four prison organizations. Not for anyone underneath them. Those are considered degenerates, or they're considered non-active, not in great standings, not in good standings. Okay, for whatever reason. Those guys sometimes come back. Okay, once you're a legit dropout, on paper, it says right there, this Vato's a fucking DO. Okay, that's prison jargon, prison slang. Okay, that is what that person is. Okay, that's just how that goes. But Boxer Enriquez is considered that. We all know where he was from, so we're not even going to mention it. And we all kind of know by now, those that have lived that life or are interested in the life, what he did, which was called debrief. Okay, he sat down, and some think he went above and beyond because he kept doing it. Okay, like I said, no one knows that man's situation and what he's seen and the betrayal that he felt that put him in that position to do that. Now imagine going to a place, a dark dungeon, where you have an indeterminate issue, which means you're never, ever, ever going to see the light of day. You're already doing a life term. You're there in the back. You're thrown away. You're forgotten about. Yes, you may have power. Yes, you may have people that do your bidding, your eyes, your ears, your arms, your extension of yourself on them yards and even on the streets. But it's just you. It's a meek existence, a bleak existence. You're just there in the dark, contemplating your next move, but not very much leeway. Okay? I'm not saying that there aren't people that are strong and that hold out, because there's a lot of real savages, man, that are really with the business, that will sit back there for decades and just do their thing. Their pride, their barrio, their organization, their group, wherever they're from, man, means more to them than anything, and I respect that. Them guys stand by their foundation. They stand by their standards, their morals, and they have integrity. You got to respect it, but then there are those that get demoralized along that path. that see some of the treacherous things that happen and decide that for no other reason, whether it be what's beneficial for them, whether it be their ego, whether it be the, whatever they got going on, maybe a death in the family, whatever, they decide to hang up the shoes, and that's just it. Their boots go up. And now a lot of these guys that do this, and I know I get thrown into that category, but I'm not even nowhere near that category. So don't get it twisted, right? My story is a whole different story. And if you don't know it, I might tell it again one of these days. But anyways, this guy Boxer decided to do whatever he decided to do. And he got a date and he got out. Did I think he was ever going to get out of prison? I never thought Boxer Enriquez would see the light of day. I reasoned with the assumption that he would probably be locked up forever just based on a lot of things he'd done in the past, his criminal ways, right? Your resume speaks volumes. This was a guy that was very untrusted by administration. This was a guy that done a lot and seen a lot, okay? But I think because of the help he gave law enforcement, the situations where he sat down, that spoke volumes in his behalf. People went to his parole hearing. He had action and he was able to get out. Now, most guys like that on that level would disappear. But it's a trend nowadays for people to go on YouTube and basically try to make a little bit of money. Now, one thing I do know about Boxer Enriquez that I've heard, not personally because I never met the man, but I have heard, is that his mind is that of, if I can get some money out of you, if I can make a little bread, why not? Why not? Social media is wide open. It's for everybody, right? It's free. It's for everybody. Why wouldn't that man do it? Why wouldn't he sit down and tell stories? He's already did it with law enforcement. He's already did it, I'm sure, with other people. And, a guy like this, you can't sleep on. A guy like this, he can come into the YouTube game and turn it upside down. And no one can deny his stories. There's no one with the authority that actually was there, that actually seen these things like he's seen them. Okay? Most of those guys are either passed or they're locked away forever. So, Boxer definitely is a big presence when it comes to the prison genre, if he decides to go that route. Now, I seen his American Me take, and it was what it was. It was actually a good take. It was actually in-depth. He's a very, very intelligent person. So the way he speaks sometimes goes over people's heads, but he was pretty point blank and straight to it, man. This was the reaction or the story, the real true story from the different perspective, basically from the inside controlling the outside, what everyone has been speculating about or talked about. He went in depth about Edward James Olmos and I guess what people had said, his life was in danger. He went in depth on a lot of different things and gave you the reasons why people felt the way they felt about that movie. Now, I was never, ever a big fan of that movie. Still I'm not. And the reason why, because I believe that movie makes the raza look bad, but I also believe that movie told a lot of lies and made a prison organization look like something it's not, right? They disrespected them men. And I'm of the understanding, this is how I get down, I respect everyone that got it coming. Whether you're active, non-active, gangbanging, not gangbanging, I don't care, man. You get that respect. It's not fear. It's nothing. It's respect. I was taught that at a very young age from real hitters and killers and parents. Parents that used the rod, did not spare thy rod, right? And tios that were actually involved at a high level in organizations, gangs, motorcycle clubs, all these types of things, the streets, the gang, right? And they always told me at everything else, when you have nothing else left, when your pride's gone, when your ego's shot, when your name is muddied in the streets, when no one's fucking with you, when you're no good in the hood, when you're considered all bad, man, you still have respect. Maybe not by everyone, but you respect yourself, right? So treat others how you want to be treated. Let them talk their bullshit, but you don't be on no bullshit, because then it starts smelling like shit, and that's too much shit, right? That's what one of my uncles told me, man. Let them talk their bullshit. So that's what I do. Now, with Boxer Enriquez, there's going to be a lot of people that don't like the fact that he's doing this. Okay? I believe if he comes on YouTube and tells his stories without mentioning too many names, and just tells his little, his prison journey in his life. I mean, he's already written a book. He's already, debriefed to the, like, he's done a lot of things that A lot of people know his story, but if he got in debt, maybe told you more about his family, his life prior to his incarceration, maybe told you little things that no one else has seen, I believe it would be a big story, or a big channel, excuse me. He's got a lot to bring, but at the same time, why? Why? The only reason I could see him doing that would be monetary gain or a need to basically get something off his chest. You know, someone that was at the level that Boxer was at, I believe, should just disappear. Should just go away. And I'm going to tell you why. It's a dangerous world. Technology is dangerous. One slip and it could be over. And when you have said things about people, dangerous people, and you have basically did a slap in their face and continue to rock that narrative, how do you think they're going to feel? Now, you got to understand, a lot of those people, when Boxer flipped, when he flipped, man, we're talking about Boxer Enriquez. I don't want people to run back, oh, Boxer, Paradigm Media, Gunner's talking about you. I'm not. Respects to that man. But when he flipped, there was a lot of people in the back there very, very upset, disgruntled. Do you understand that Boxer changed the fabric of prison? A lot of people don't know that. A lot of things changed when he flipped, man. A lot of things. New measures and rules were implemented. I mean, the Vatos had a big impact on the culture, right? And make my back itch thinking about this shit. But anyways, no dick. That's just exactly what it was. Now, there was a lot of upset people. But see, everyone has a shelf life, brother. And guys pass away. Guys forget, never forgive, but they forget. Time moves on. Other things start happening. And your name starts to get watered down and murky and muddy. And next thing you know, no one's talking about you no more. And, you know, Boxer was the big talk of the town when everyone first seen the debriefing videos. And I think more so, people were just enraptured and tripping out on the way he spoke. They didn't expect a criminal, an or a convict to speak the way he did, like a goddamn professor. But what you don't understand is guys like that only have a few things to do in that cell when they're doing a lifetime incarcerated. And one of the main things that's instilled, especially when you're a gang member or you're part of any group in the California prison system, is educate yourself. Education. So some guys just educate themselves and do just enough to keep the big fellas happy, to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do in programming, functioning. Then there are those that are truly dedicated, not only to what they got going on, because they know what they learn will impact, you know, their money situation, will impact, you know, their status. So there's a lot of guys that go in there and really, really fucking educate themselves. They learn different languages, code, you know, philosophy. They're not just reading fucking Sidney Sheldon and Harold Robin books. Those are for enjoyment. But they're studying things and tactics that can help them in guerra, warfare, can help them in business, financially. And they're trying to hustle. See, that's one thing about the California prison system. It's one big hustle. Whether you're washing fucking calzones, whether you're cooking in the kitchen, hustling sugar for Pruno, whether you're on that yard fucking doing what you do. I don't speak on the hustling, you know, when it comes to that trade. But whatever you're doing in prison, everyone's trying to hustle. Everyone's trying to make a little bit of bread because everyone's trying to survive. It's a different world in there. You know, if you think you're just going to go in prison and sit on your ass and sleep all day, then you got another thing coming. It doesn't work that way. No one likes a slacker, McFly, right? No one likes that shit. So get out of here, butthead. You got to get up and get going. You got to get out on that yard and make something happen for yourself. Because best believe your celly's going to get tired of fucking feeding you his sopas. He's going to do it, but he ain't going to like it. And that's going to cause tension in that cell. So the best thing everyone does, man, and everybody wants to make a little bit of money. So educate yourself. And that's what people like Boxer did. So he was a very educated man. And I think when that video came out, people seeing that exact video, they were drawn to it. You know, it was an exposure of an organization that we've never seen up to that point, right? And from someone at such a high level. And the way he was thinking and the way he taught and talked, it just was enrapturing. You know, you could only sit back and say, wow, this Valto's using words I could never spell. Not only that, but on top of that, he's telling truths. You know, he was considered probably one of the most vicious killers. I mean, we're talking about a man that went into the LA County Jail and did a pegada right there in front of everybody, like, fuck it, let's get it. So many different things that he was involved in. That's why I didn't think he would get out. So let's rewind. Now he's out. Okay, he made a parole hearing. People spoke up for him. Law enforcement decided he had helped, tremendously and enough that they were going to give this guy action and a shot at society. Now, whatever changes he made in his life up until that point, if they were truly dedicated, if he really made a big change, you can't say he did it, right? It's there's a lot of lifers, I'm sure, that go to board and they tell the board whatever the board wants to hear to get out. And then they're dead, or they overdose, or they're out there fucking up a few months later. They don't know how to act on the streets, and some of it's not their fault. Some of it, time has moved on from them. Their family's gone. They have no support, and they just get back in the mix, right? But then there are those that actually truly want to be a fundamental part of society. They want to contribute, man. So they go to work, they do programs, they continue what the fuck they were doing. Because let me explain something to you. Lifers just don't get out in the California system. It doesn't happen. If you're not truly reformed, man, if you're not really helping yourself, doing self-help awareness groups, social thinking skills, anger management, college courses, bettering yourself for a lot of years, the board's not even going to look your way. You're not even going to get action. So guys do better themselves and take the necessary steps to get out. Most of those guys don't want to waste their time like they've been wasting time. So they get out and they continue that course. And they make something out of themselves. Just because you get out of prison and you've done a lot of prison time doesn't mean you can't now live your life. It's never too late to live your life. You only get one to live. You better live it right. So is this boxer's way of maybe some type of therapeutic thing for him? I don't know. I did see, like I said, the American Me thing, and I thought it was clever, the fact that they brought that up to be his first video, and that he touched on that, because that's something that's pretty, that a lot of people have always wanted to know about. That movie American Me was very popular. Like I said, I was never into it. As a kid, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, because I was in awe of gangs. I think like most Chicano kids, black kids, white kids from California, gangs was a way of life. And in the late 80s, early 90s, it was definitely very popular to be a gang member. It was definitely like, we all wanted to be that. We all wanted to be Santana. We all wanted to be that one, right? And I think a lot of us, any type of material we could soak in, we felt like we were part of that. And let's keep it real. You see like lowriders go to lowrider shows, motherfuckers would go there like, not to look at the cars. Motherfuckers can give a shit about the cars. Unless you're a car person, right? You just wanted that culture, or you wanted that, yeah, this is gangster shit. That's how it was. Everything that was a little bit gangster, motherfuckers wanted to be around that because it made you feel like you were more gangster than maybe you really were, right? I know that was my scene. That was my thing. And then I got into some real gangster shit and got locked up in the youth authority. And then I seen what gangsters really were, right? And I had to participate at a high level. And then I went to prison and seen what gangsters really were. I got in an argument the other day. I wouldn't even call it an argument, but a disagreement with somebody. And he tried to tell me about the word gangster. Aren't gangsters? And I said, you're talking about gang members, bro. There's a difference between a gangster and a gang member. A gangster ain't something you become. A gangster is a mentality you already have. It just clicks on. There's some true gangsters that are not all tatted down, not bald, not big brochas. They're the P.B. Herman type sitting in the back with the glasses on talking about the innocuous consumption of the what. Boxer was one of them gangsters, right? And I think because he now did this YouTube video, he's going to open up old wounds. I talked about shelf life. See, a lot of those guys that felt Boxer did them wrong, and he absolutely did, man. He, gave up names and did things like that about his homies. They felt some type of way. I'm sure he's frowned upon. But a lot of them guys, like I said, man, are no longer here, or times have changed. But when you reopen those wounds, then it shines a spotlight on you. I wanted to talk about myself. See, prior to me doing YouTube, true story, because I want to laugh. Some dude left a comment the other day. He was like, Gunner's a DO from my hood. We ran him out of Merced. If you don't stop it, motherfuckers, fasten your diaper. Shit's falling everywhere. Didn't no one run me out of nowhere. You know what I mean? First of all, motherfucker, the only place I ran to was a job, motherfucker, because I'm a productive member, because I have rent to pay. Oh, living with your mom ass, motherfucker, right? So, but here's the thing. I chuckled, I laughed about it. And prior to me doing the YouTube, I was running all around the hood. I was rolling all around the hood. I was right there at Buy Rights back in the days. GB talks about I was all up in, the dead end store. I was all on the west side at the welfare department getting food stamps with my baby mamas. I was doing everything. Everything everyone else was doing, pulling up to Walmart, Target. No one was tripping on me. And everybody knew my standings. Everybody knew I paroled, not in the greatest of standings within the organization. And why? I'll tell that story later on if you haven't seen it already, right? But I chose, a different path in life. It was time. It was time, okay? But I wasn't getting no hatred, okay? Until I started YouTube. Several years later when I had already moved and I had already started working. And I was living in Newark, California when I first started, right? But I'd moved out of Merced and, I got me a job and whatever. I was trying to, change. Then, and only then, that people start to recognize me and feel some type of way. And then I became fucking DO 101, right? The most hated guy in Northern California. It's a trip. There's dudes that fucking talk shit about Norteños and disrespect and call them all types of derogatory things. They hate me more. Like I have that much of an impact in their heart. It's a trip, right? When I show nothing but canalismo and respect, I show more respect to them than their homeboy spitting in their ear that's going to fuck their old lady does. Facts, right? Now, I'm just saying, this is the truth. But I put that spotlight on myself. So here's my advice to someone I don't even need to advise because he was at such a different level. Boxer, he should be the one giving advice, right? Albeit YouTube is lucrative in some cases, and I'm sure his channel would be one that would be watched just because it's real. People love real, right? I'd advise him, man, be careful. Be careful because it's a very dangerous situation and treacherous. Motherfuckers hate. There's a lot of hate. And you got to have thick skin because there's a lot of people that are going to go in on him because, he told. Or they're going to go on him because of that. But it trips me out that some of the biggest people who told in the game, Boxer Enriquez, Sammy the Bull, these guys are beloved. People bypass that because of the level they were on. People are so mystified with the aura of these organizations that they'll let anyone tell you about them. And it's a trip, right? Anyways, man, how do I feel about it? I thought it was a great video. It finally gave us some personable, in-depth ways to look at the situation of what was really going on. I'm sure Boxer spins a good tale. He has a good voice. He does it. But to be honest with you, man, that man, he's going to put himself, I believe, well, like Mundo. Mundo does his thing. I just don't want to see a situation where another person loses their life or something bad happens. You slip, right? But I don't know, man. That, like I said, that could be one and done. We'll just have to see how it goes. My respects to everyone involved. As far as Boxer goes, man, I even treat that man with respect. That man, I know people say, well, he never told on me. It doesn't matter. The people that he has issues with, that's his issues. I'm not going out there robbing the 7-Eleven with the man. But at the same time, I will say this. I know where he's been. I don't know everything he's been through. But I sure the fuck respect it. Because there's not one person out there watching this right now that wanted to be in that man's shoes at any of them levels. And if you did, you know what I mean? It's you're built different. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the strive, the struggle, the struggle, the strive. I appreciate you, man. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears Gun's crown. Bang, bang.